Hey Tennyson, how are you, bud? I'm going well, mate. Just sorting out some technical stuff and hoping that we'll be live in a sec if this works. Yeah, beauty. It looks like it's worked. Nice. Why the on our YouTube channel? I want to make sure that our YouTube folks can actually talk to us because for some reason YouTube keeps stopping them from being able to chat with us, and I freaking hate it. So just give me a sec while I sort that out. Because a lot of people don't like Facebook, right? So we got some followers on YouTube who don't want to use Facebook, and they should have the equal right to sort of have a chat to us if they want to. Comments on. Is that working? Anyway, I'm hoping our YouTube audience can have a look and have a chat to us. All right, folks. G'day. My name's Chris Nitzo. For those of you that don't know, I'm the lead forecaster at Weather IQ, and we've got a bit to talk about. We've got a cyclone about to hit WA. It's probably hitting them as I speak. We've got a low pressure system in the Gulf, which is weakening. We've got a lot of tropical rainfall in northeast Queensland. We've got a fair bit to discuss here over the next 15-20 minutes. So the way these go, for those of you that are new, I have a chat and I gibber about a bunch of stuff, the stuff that's important, and then I open it up for some Q&As for you guys. So you let me know what you want to ask about, as long as it's sort of relevant. So don't ask me about rubbish, just like something that's going on. That way I can try and get to those questions at the end. So if you want, but sometimes if you ask me the question too early, I won't get to it. And when I get to it, because so many people have said something, I might not even see it. So maybe if you leave your questions until I've started gibbering for about 10 minutes and then ask your question, that way you'll guarantee I'll see it. Otherwise, I won't see it and then everyone will be cranky because I didn't answer them. Okay? So something to look out for. Right. The first thing I want to have a look at here firstly is northeast Queensland. Now, I want to start with merged radar accumulation rainfalls and also the sort of numbers that we've seen through different parts of far north Queensland. And we can see these are rainfall accumulations over the last 4 days. So this is firstly for two things, so people understand how much rain they've had since this whole thing started, and also to get the window lickers off our back who keep going, hey, you guys hype everything up, blah, 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 blah. So to start with, let's start that part and let's have a look at how much rain we've had. And you can see here, Cairns probably missing out, right? Probably a little bit less than they were expected to have. They were expected to have around 200 to 300. They've only had half that, but they've got another day today where they can improve on that. And overnight tonight into tomorrow. This area is just south of Cairns also was expecting 200 to 300. Yeah, they haven't quite achieved that yet, but they've once again got another night and another day to go. These areas have probably met and exceeded their rainfall expectations. That's these areas down here around Innisfail, which are up around 400 to 500, and they're still raining there as we speak. 5 to 6 as we go out towards Cowley Beach. We go down to here, and this is Mission Beach, I think. 967 millimetres at Mission Beach. That's pretty impressive stuff. All right, and that's way more than they were supposed to get from this event. The other thing you'll notice here is the rainfall has been very, very coastal, very coastal. Once we go inland to say Mareeba, what have they had? 84 millimetres, so not much. Atherton, Mareeba beat you, and Mareeba beat Atherton, I think. So there, that's a positive. And then as we go down to Herberton and sort of Ravenshoe's done quite well. Mount Garnett's done quite well. Dimbulla's even done 80 millimetres, right? So that's this part of the world. Let's go down to the Townsville district. And we can see Townsville's done pretty well out of this too over the last 4 days. You can see these are our radar rain accumulations. And when we take a look at our rainfall for the last 4 days, by the way, these charts are thanks to Weather Watch, very good Met Centre that they've got. 915 millimetres there around Lucinda. So massive rainfall, way above what they were supposed to get, right? way above. And you can see here that we've seen, what's that, 695 here. What's that, Halifax, I think? No, Cardwell Gap, 695, 572 there around Halifax. You can see the Ingham region's done between 3 and 500. You can also see areas just north of Townsville. Rolling Stone has done very, very well, getting up to 350 to 400 just in the last 4 days, right? 4 days. So all the gibberers and all the window lickers who are going, hey, you guys hype everything up. Well, there you go. No, we don't. That's what's happened. Down around Townsville, you can see here we've had about 200 mils plus over the last 4 days. So pretty good numbers for Townsville. Around about what they were supposed to get. They were supposed to be just outside the big numbers. And even some of the northern suburbs are getting some big numbers there. Central suburbs have seen about 100 to 200 mils of rain. And down around the Burdekin region, you can see 50 to 150 mils of rain through there. Places like Charters Towers haven't done quite as well. They're sort of piggy in the middle between two areas. The heavy rain up in the east and the heavy rain out west. Now let's go over to the one out west, out here towards Mount Isa. Let's have a look at some of these totals over the last 4 days. 4-day rainfalls here, and by the way, it didn't start raining here 4 days ago like it did in the coastline. It started raining here a week ago. If you take out if you take a look at the last 7 days across this region, just tremendous amounts of rain through this area, right? These are the rainfalls over the last 7 days, 200 to 400 millimetres over large areas east of Mount Isa. And you can see here, out towards Cloncurry, we've had 400 plus. You can see that we've had 300 to 500 in this region. The radar-derived rainfalls are up around 500 out here to the east of, or to the northeast of Cloncurry. Massive rainfall just north of the Flinders Highway. Big rainfall south of the Flinders Highway as well. So huge numbers coming out of Mount Isa, out of the Mount Isa district. And last and not least is the Richmond area. The last 7 days of rain there. You can see once again massive rainfall, 600 to 700 millimetres there west of Maxwellton. Once again, radar-derived rainfalls are a little bit aggressive and they don't all fall to the ground, but we see the actual numbers around 70 to 80% in real values is usually what falls to the ground. And we can see there 352, is that just the last? Yeah, 352 was recorded, which is well below what that 600 looks like on the map there. 292. So these are big numbers for this part of the world. These are almost yearly type rainfalls over the course of 7 days. So once again, when we say it's going to rain and it's going to piss down, we're not saying it for fun, all right? It's not, we're not a hype page. If we say it's going to piss down, it means that there's a lot of evidence that it's going to piss down. All right, we don't just pick up a model and go, oh, it's going to piss down because this model said so. No, we weigh it all up and we say it's going to piss down because they're all saying it, or most of them are saying it, or most of the good ones are saying it, or we understand the physics behind it that, yes, it should piss down. All right, so understand, folks, when we tell you there's a lot of rain coming, there's a lot of rain coming. All right. That's what's happened so far. Let's have a look at what's happening in this part of the world now, and then I want to go over to WA because they've got a cyclone coming on the coast, and that is a major event for them. Firstly, I want to get rid of the people who want to just ask me about the cyclone next week. We don't know enough to talk intelligently about it. So there, for those of you that don't know, we are anticipating a low pressure system forming somewhere off the coastline next week. Somewhere off the coastline between Cairns and Townsville. That system's going to move northeast out towards the northern Coral Sea. We don't know from there how quickly it's going to develop. If it develops quickly, brace yourselves far north Queensland. That thing's coming straight back at you and whacking you. If it develops slowly, we don't know. All right? And most of the time, these things in the Coral Sea stuff around forever and then finally put themselves together. So the longer it stuffs around, the less chance it's got of hitting the coast. All right? Pretty simple stuff. The longer it stuffs around, the more likely it is to adopt one of these tracks. And the reason we haven't gone public with all this rubbish about cyclones next week is because I want to show you this. This is our range of track solutions. We go all the way to New Zealand. That's funny enough. We go down to northern New South Wales. That's funny enough. We go almost to Timor. Right? I mean, what value are you going to get with us telling you that? None. That's why we're not talking about it until we've got something more concrete to go on. But what I can tell you, pretty simple stuff, if you think about this and you remember this, the faster the system puts itself together, develops structure and develops a proper core with good thunderstorm activity, the more likely it is to hit the North Queensland coastline as a tropical cyclone late next week. The slower the system develops, the less likely it is to hit the coast at all. All right, so that's where we are at the moment in the medium to longer term. This is nothing to stress about. You should be equally stressed if you're in New Zealand, to northern New South Wales, to Cairns, to Lockhart River, to Nhulunbuy, to East Timor. All of you should be stressed if that's the plan. All right, that's why we're not talking about it. We don't need to right now. All right, we just don't know enough about what's going to happen next week to even think about talking about it. That's all I'm going to say. I will not be answering any questions about the cyclone next week. So that's all we're going to say about it. We don't have enough evidence about how the system develops to then speak intelligently about where the system could threaten the coast. Okay? If you've got a question about the cyclone, I do apologise, but I will not be answering it. All right, as we continue, let's have a look at the North Queensland rainfall now. So with that in mind, by the way, this broadcast sponsored by a major sponsor there on the top left, Fair Dinkum Builds Townsville. And also we have a subscription service. We don't get funded by the government. We get funded by ourselves and by the generosity of everyone that wants to listen to our forecast, our proper forecast. We do 8. What do we do today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 forecasts today. So if you want access to those, it starts at $30. It's not going to break your bank. It's once a year, $30. It's like 5 cups of coffee. So if you want to support us, up to you. Otherwise, you can tune into these updates and every few days when there's stuff around. Let's talk about North Queensland's rainfall coming up for the next little bit. Give me a second while I get these charts up. Alrighty, so on your screen there is rainfall in 6 hourly time steps, and we'll just make sure we're using the latest one. All right, so today we're going to just zoom in a little bit. I think that's a little bit too far out. So let's have a zoom in and let's have a look at who gets rain, when they get rain, etc., etc. We might see if we can we snag everyone in Georgetown's overlay. Let's see if we can do that. We can snag everyone in Georgetown. Yeah, happy days, beautiful. All right, so we've got the northeast rain and we've got the northwest rain, so we don't need to speak about them separately because, believe it or not, they're both attached in some way. So over the course of overnight tonight, where are we expecting our heavy rain? Mostly offshore, but nudging the coastline between Cairns and probably Tully. That's where we're anticipating our heaviest rainfall. Shower activity all the way down to Townsville is possible, and the heavy rain in the western parts, you can see between Mount Isa and Richmond. Again, around that Flinders Highway, the one place that just keeps getting hammered over the last couple of days. We see some storm activity up there in the, or rain activity up there in the Gulf country as well, and we also see a little bit of stuff in between these two areas. Right, as we go into 10 a.m. tomorrow, what we've got is a situation where, once again, our heaviest rainfall is expected to be just off the coast. This morning, there was some incredible rain off the coast of Cairns. Yarrabah copped a couple of 100 mils in about 3 hours, I think, this morning. Incredible rainfall intensities. And just east of Cairns. Wow, it was really close for Cairns. Very, very close to being a disaster-type setup for Cairns this morning. I can't stress that enough. Go back through the radar. Have a look how close you really came to seeing a real disaster over Cairns over the morning. Right, so as we look at here, sorry, I digressed. The Innisfail area looks to be the promising area for rainfall as we move into early tomorrow, 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. You can see that a lot of our heavier rainfall between the Isa and Richmond just shifts south of the Flinders Highway, so it just shifts southwards through northwestern Queensland. As we go into tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, we see generally showers and thunderstorms. We break up a bit of that rain area stuff that's going on out west, and we turn into showers and thunderstorms. Our heavy rainfall pushes offshore off Queensland's north coast, but it starts to drift south back towards Ingham. The heavier shower activity starts to drift south back towards Ingham Rolling Stone tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow evening, the expectation is that we're going to see heavier rainfall just off the northeast Queensland coastline. Once again, this area now just continues to shift southwards, right, back towards the Herbert part of the Herbert-Burdekin. Showers and thunderstorms through the northern interior. Widespread showers and thunderstorms redeveloping in the afternoon, evening tomorrow around the Mount Isa-Richmond area. So that's where we're anticipating a continuation of further rainfall, but hopefully well, I say hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully. I just don't want the same spots getting smashed. This time, we might see that rain just sort of push a little south of the Flinders Highway. So that's what we're hoping for, because that area hasn't had quite as much rain as the area just north of the Flinders Highway. As we continue on into the overnight period, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, this is a chance for some heavy rain to develop around the Townsville coastline. Between Townsville and Tully, we'd probably be seeing some heavy rain. Now, that doesn't mean every single spot between Townsville and Tully. No, it just means that there's heavy rain in between those areas is the most likely outcome, with showers on the fringe of those areas. You can also see some showers offshore off the North Tropical Coast, and we can see widespread sort of rain and storm activity south of the Flinders Highway between Richmond and Mount Isa. As we continue on, we continue to maintain the possibility of heavy rainfall around that Townsville coastline through Thursday, and the expectation at this stage through Thursday, you can see further heavy falls through the Townsville district and further heavy falls through the northern Goldfields, Upper Flinders, northwest and central west, and eastern parts of the northwest. There's also a fair amount of shower and storm activity continuing for the Gulf Country. That's an area, by the way, that the models didn't do well in, the Gulf Country. The Gulf Country got a lot more rain around Normanton, Corumba, that sort of region, than I think models were suggesting. Models were telling us 1, 2, maybe 300 max, and there's some numbers that were up around the 400 out there. So that's an area that the models underestimated in. So as we continue, you can see here, once again, heavier rainfall around the Herbert-Burdekin. Now, this model is a little bit aggressive in the rainfall in the Herbert-Burdekin. Most of them aren't quite as aggressive, but generally speaking, we should see some heavy falls through that Herbert-Burdekin region moving into Thursday. Continuation of widespread showers and thunderstorms through the northern interior, and generally showers and thunderstorms up around far north Queensland. As we continue into Thursday evening, you can see further heavy falls in the Herbert-Burdekin. Now, it's not going to be everywhere, but there's going to be pockets in the Herbert-Burdekin that will probably be starting to see some numbers really adding up at this point. So we do expect to see some heavy falls through that region. Heavy falls also through the northern Goldfields and Upper Flinders and the northern central west. Eventually, what's going to happen over the weekend, there could be a little peak in rainfall around the Herbert-Burdekin on Friday, and then beginning to start to move off the coast from late Saturday. So from late Saturday, we should start to see a decrease in rainfall and or a contraction of rainfall further north. Now, that's not set in stone. Different models are doing different things as we move out towards that period. But at this point in time, the focal point of rainfall is expected to shift south from the Cairns district down through beyond Tully, probably more so Cardwell, south through to Bowen. So this region here appears to be the focal point of rainfall. Not today, now listen closely. Not today, not tomorrow, not as in today, 30th, not the 31st, but from the 1st. Okay, please understand that part, because I don't want Townsville people all up in our comments going, "You said rain, it's not raining, you're gibbering." All right, so not today, not tomorrow, the 1st. Breathe. All right, so that's it. That's the expectation. Now, from there, of course, we then move into talking about the cyclone, which we're not going to do today because there's not enough evidence, not enough maybe, there's too many maybe nots, and that's where we'll cut it off. All right, so up until that point, there's a really good opportunity to see some fantastic rainfall still to come. So this system isn't going to be, its system's not going to be finished, not going to be done with just yet. Now, this is an aggressive model, so I don't like showing you aggressive models. So let's go and have a look at the more general modelling for the region, hey? Aggressive modelling can give you the wrong idea here. So this is general modelling for the region between Tuesday and next month. Let's take that out to just Saturday night. I don't like showing aggressive modelling. That's what the Yahoo pages do. All right, so this is our rainfall modelling from now till Saturday night. Now, the difficult part of this rainfall forecast let me get the inland parts as well, eh? All right, so the difficult part of the rainfall forecast here is going to be how intense does the coastal stuff get? And also, how far south do we move the coastal stuff? So in this particular model, this is our #1 computer model in the world. It's the European. This is the one, you know when you go to windy.com and everyone shows you all the windy pictures? Yeah, this is the one that they show you, the Euro. But it's also important to understand, one of the things the Euro struggles with in North Queensland is the orographic lift enhanced rainfall. So the Euro, if we were to believe what the Euro model was telling us, no one on the northeast coast should have got more than 300 mils, all right? And we clearly got more than 300 mils. So, you know, the Euro has its limitations. It's a really good overall synoptic model, but it's not a very good northeast Queensland rainfall model. It's not one of our better ones. We have better rainfall models than this one in terms of the intensity of rainfall that occurs in northeast Queensland. And where the bomb come unstuck, I don't know how they operate, but I know that they use the Euro as a highly weighted model when they're coming up with their forecast. And where they come unstuck is because sometimes this model doesn't pick the orographic lift well enough, doesn't pick it strongly enough, and ends up showing, you know, falls of 50 to 150 mils, and the bomb go with that. And the problem is that in real life, we know that orographic lift on top of convergence lift and confluence on that northeast coast results easily in 200, 300, 400 millimeters. The Euro model doesn't pick that up, all right? And that's the problem with it. And when it formulates the sort of majority opinion when it comes to creating a forecast, there's a problem there. So in saying that, it is picking up pretty significant rainfall through the Townsville district. It is picking up some nice rainfall still around the Richmond, Hughenden, down towards Winton area, north of Emerald at this stage, but there's still a chance there that Emerald sort of sees the southern boundary of that. So that's the Euro. Obviously, the AI is the outlying model. It is suggesting some very heavy rain on that coastline between Cardwell and Bowen. And you can see still suggesting some heavy rainfall through the inland. Bureau of Meteorology's model tends to be very good at this orographic lifting process and understanding it. It stops short of driving the rain anywhere south of Townsville. So all the heavy rain here is north of Townsville, doesn't get down to the Burdekin, and gets into that Cardwell, Ingham, and Rolling Stone region. That's the focal point there. The UK Met model will also follow suit there, and it'll show the same sort of thing, right? Where the heavier rainfall extends down to about the northern edge of Townsville and further northwards. You can still see, though, very heavy falls across the inland. So there's a bit of doubt about how the next few days are going to go, but there's clear evidence there that this rain system still has a fair bit to go before it's done. The good thing about the inland part of this is that the worst of the inland rainfall is now complete. That whole widespread, everyone gets rain set up, that is done now. We're starting to see things that'll be done from tomorrow. So we'll start to see things that are a little bit patchier, still just as heavy intensity-wise, but just a little patchier. It won't be everywhere again. So that's the expectation there for rainfall over the course of the next 4 or 5 days. Now, I just want to show you the model average, the ensemble average here, so you've got an idea of, you know, when we add them all up, if we're trying to figure it all out, what sort of numbers are we looking at between now and Saturday night? You can see here, generally, if we add all the model averages, 150 to 250 millimetres would be expected between Ingham and Ayr over the course of this period between Tuesday and Saturday. The problem I have with using the model average, while it tends to be pretty accurate at where the rain's going to fall, it tends to underestimate the sort of higher end totals, and so we sometimes easily see numbers that double the actual maximum shown here on the Euro ensemble, and the same applies for the inland. So usually, while it's pretty good at telling us around about where the rain is going to be, we also need to understand that it may underestimate the rainfall totals through here. So that's what we're expecting between Tuesday and Saturday. So there's still a lot of rain to come. It's not over, and the rain in far north Queensland will shift southwards to some degree, but we don't know whether that stops at Townsville or whether it continues to the Burdekin. So for Burdekin folks, there's a bit of doubt there about you and how much rain you're going to get as we go into this next few days. Positive signs, but not at the point where we can go definitively and say, the Burdekin, brace yourselves, you're getting a fair bit of rain. We can't say that yet. It's looking positive, but we're not there yet. All right, so that's where we're going here over the northeast. Let's go over and have a quick look at our cyclone because it's making landfall up there in the Kimberley. Let's have a quick squiz at that, and then I'll open it up for some questions. Right. Derby. Oh, there we go. Look at that. It's just making landfall as we go alive. How good's that? All right, there he is. You can see there, pushing right over the top of, I think that's pretty much Jarringen. I can't say the word. But anyway, it's a little indigenous community right up here around the tip of the Cape. I think it's just south of the tip of the Cape. It's making direct landfall with them right now. That's pretty impressive. Well, not impressive. I mean, terrible, but it's making a direct hit over a population centre as such. So I'm wondering if there's any data, if there's any wind instrument there. If there is, that'll be great data that might come out of that. So you can see there the system's pretty tightly packed. You can see it's got a very, very small core. Let's play with our ruler, eh? I like playing with the ruler. I like measuring stuff. That didn't sound right. Right, so we can see here 30 kilometres. So 30 kilometres is our core on that southwestern side. And when we take a look at our velocity imagery here, oh yeah, there's some good velocity folding going on through that radar as well. It's a bit patchy when we get that far away from the radar, but clearly there you can see the system is just making landfall as we're going to air. That's pretty good timing, isn't it? So we're just making landfall as we're going to air. The expectation from here, I just want to look at Derby. Derby's the only real population centre I care about in this area. Broome, don't get your knickers in a knot. I care about you too, but you're not getting, there's nothing here for you, all right? But for Derby, there's a chance that things might get a little bit hairy later on. Let's have a look at that chance, shall we? Right, so we're going to have a quick look here at the Euro model. And then we're going to have a look at the high resolution model, and we're just going to have a look at wind fields of the cyclone as it comes onto the into King Sound. King Sound is this little body of water just here, by the way, and let's have a look at what we've got here with regards to intensity of winds. Yeah, so the system's sort of Cat 2 as it pushes across. So you can see maxing out at about 60 to 70 knots wind gusts. I reckon there might be something a bit stronger than that in it, to be honest. And especially here, because we're going to see a little bit of funneling going on between the two land masses with that body of water. I reckon we might be able to snag ourselves 70 to 80 knot max gusts in that area where that funneling will take place. But overnight tonight we do see, so the system's coming onto the coast. What's the time now in WA? 5:30. So what time's it saying there? Yeah, so see how it's a little bit off in the timing? So because I think it's a little bit off, I reckon it's coming onto the coast a bit stronger than what the model's given it credit for. So let's use a different model, eh? So this is one of the things you've got to do, right? As a forecaster, you look at a model, and if it's slightly off, you've got to look at, can we still use it? And one of the things we know about this cyclone is that it will weaken very quickly in the next 6 hours. So if it's 6 hours behind time, we can no longer use this model effectively to model wind fields for something like Derby. So you've got to know this as a forecast, and this is one of the things when you run a weather page, you've got to know this. If the model's off, and it means something, because it means something today because we've got a lot of wind shear on this system. So there's a very sharp de-escalation or weakening of the system between 2 p.m. or 5 p.m., which is now. Remember, the cyclone's coming onto the coast now at 5 p.m. WA time, right? So this is the cyclone at 5 p.m. So at 8 p.m., the cyclone's still packing a punch, right? But at 8 p.m., it's going to be over here somewhere, all right? So we can't use this model anymore because by 8 p.m. this cyclone will have weakened and it's too far to the west. So it's one of those things where if you don't get it, you don't get it, right? So it's important when you run a weather page that you know what you can and you can't use and what you've got to throw away. You've got to throw this away now. It's no longer valid when it comes to wind field modelling for a place like Derby. So let's use another one. See how we go. All right, so this is HAF's model. So this model is looking specifically at the, it's a high resolution output, and it's showing us a high resolution version of what's going on through the system. So you can see it's a little bit better than the Euro because at 5 p.m. it's almost got the system hitting land, so it's a lot closer than the Euro, and it's also probably modelled the wind field correctly versus the Euro. The Euro's under-modelled the wind field. This system still looks pretty put together, right? I don't know, what's the bomb classified at here as a what category on landfall here? Let's have a look. What is it there? Cat 3 still. Yeah, it makes sense. Cat 3 still, yep. All right, so it's a pretty well put together system. So that's why we can't use the Euro model when we're looking at the wind field now because it's rubbish. So as we continue, and we've got a model here that's a little bit more on the ball. The one thing we can say about this model is perhaps it's brought the cyclone a touch too far to the south. So you can see there, that's our cyclone. The system's on the model is about 10 to 20 kilometres further south of where it should be. So these winds would probably be about 10 to 20 kilometres further north of where they're modelled to be. So what we can see here, I want to get right into personal to Derby here, because this is the one population centre that matters in the area. So we can see here I apologise, Jarrington, of course, the Indigenous community, that's the centre that matters, but we don't have any close-up views of that area. And for Jarrington, we can see that there's potentially winds coming onto the coastline around them at around gusting to about 70 to 75 knots in the next few hours as the system's core pushes through. Now for Derby, which is a larger population centre, we can see here that our maximum wind gusts potentially up around 30 to 35 knots for Derby. They're wind gusts. And the big thing to understand for Derby is they're getting an easterly flow. They're not getting a westerly flow. It's not coming over water. It's coming over land. So that means that the sustained winds over Derby are going to be a little bit lighter than what they would be if this airfield was coming over water towards them. So that easterly flow, the sustained winds will be well down compared to the wind gusts. And you can see that the sustained wind field around the cyclone is only pushing winds up around 20 knots through Derby, sustained. Getting up to 30 to 35 knot gusts, but 20 knots sustained. The only time that differs is if we get maybe a little storm that comes through with a squally rain band. Sometimes that can just jump those gales up to, or jump those winds up to about 90 to 100 kilometres an hour. So that's the one thing Derby would be looking out for over the course of the next little while. All right, when it comes to the forecast radar, when's the heaviest rainfall over Derby? We might have already had it. If we haven't had it, we're going to have it probably in the next couple of hours. This cyclone is packing most of its rain on the southern side. Yeah, so in the next few hours is when we're going to see the heaviest rainfall on the southern side of the circulation, so between 8 and 11 p.m. and potentially as late as 2 a.m. before all of the rain quickly clears. Look at that. On the back side, there's very little rain on this thing. All right, so all of the rain is done in Derby by the end of by about midnight. All right, so clearly there, it's a very southern packed system and very close to the core, or just south of the core, is where all the action's at. So that's it for this system. Now let's track this system longer term. Let's go back to our models here. Let's get rid of all that Coral Sea rubbish, because we don't know what that's doing. So let's go back to something that we might be able to understand a bit more. Just give me a second to get the right stuff here. Okay. All right, so the remnants of this system, if we continue to track it, are going to push east through the Kimberley, and then they're expected to get up towards the Gregory district or around the southwestern or the southern edge of the Joseph Bonaparte Gulf before the system loses intensity. So as it pushes across here, there's a chance there that it sort of reinvigorates the monsoonal flow for Darwin, folks. So there's a chance there that Darwin might pick up a little bit of shower and storm activity as this tracks eastwards. Now, what is interesting about this system is this could become the messy system that messes up the Queensland Coral Sea system longer term. So while the low will die, the rotation, the broad rotational field around the low will likely push across the top end and may end up in the Gulf of Carpentaria. If this ends up in the Gulf of Carpentaria and we've got a low off North Queensland's coastline, these two are going to tussle and jostle for supremacy. And when that happens, it creates a very, very difficult and complex interrelationship between the two systems. And once again, that adds further complexity to the Coral Sea cyclone, because we don't know how these two are going to interrelate if this was to take place. So that adds just another element of why we don't want to talk about the Coral Sea cyclone at this early stage, all right? Because of the remnants of old mate over here. What's her name? Hayley, sorry to all the Hayleys out there. The remnants of Hayley getting across, and not the first time I've forgotten Hayley's name. Anyways, That's a different story. Leave that one. That one's private. Right. So the expectation here is that it could make this relationship a little bit more complex in the longer term. All right. So that's why we don't want to discuss longer term aspects of coral sea systems. Alrighty, folks, time for some questions. Let's go to... We'll do YouTube questions first, shall we? It's been, the poor YouTubers, sometimes they don't get their questions answered. We answer all the Facebook ones first, and sometimes we run out of time and don't do the YouTubes. So, let's have a quick look. See if no, we don't have a... Oh, good. We don't have a question on YouTube. Beautiful. All right, we'll do Facebook ones. Alrighty, let's start. You do a great job, mate. Respect. Thanks, Dave. Lisa. Hi, Nito. Hi, Lisa. Ben, need IT help. Hit up Logilytics. Oh, I think Ben's given himself a plug. No worries, bud. We've got a pretty good IT guy, mate. He helps me a lot with Dom. For those of you that are subscribers, you know Dom. By the way, before I start on the questions, don't forget, subscription. $32.95 a year. It's not going to break your bank. It helps us a lot. And you get all my videos. With today, 10 video forecasts. You can't get better value than that, folks, as I say. All right, going back to the questions. Let's go. Sassy, howdy. What's your thoughts on the flow out of this Easter on the deck? What are the flow of this Easter? Sorry, Sassy, I just don't understand that question. I've got to move on. G'day, Nitso. Liz. G'day, Liz. Thanks for all that you do. You're a legend. Thanks, Liz. Thanks for watching, mate. Sassy, water on the deck. Sheesh. Oh, okay. What's your thoughts on the water on the deck going to go anywhere? I still don't get your question. Sorry, Sass. Kate Cooper, bloody legend. Thank you. No worries, Kate. Glad to help you. Thanks again, Fee. Thanks again, Nitso, for another great wrap-up. No worries, Fee. Thank you for watching. It's worth the sub, folks. The Weather Centre alone is worth the top tier. Awesome. That's, the Weather Centre. We love the Weather Centre. We use it for all of our forecasts as well, along with other tools, of course. But yeah, thanks, Sass. And yeah, join us. We got 3,000 members. Join the membership. It's $30. Come on. It's not going to break your bank. It helps us a lot. All right. Zabinator, we were lucky. We only got 28 millimetres overnight in Pentland, and looks like it's heading south. Gee, I feel sorry for Julia Creek, Hewenden. Yeah, so Pentland, just like Charters Towers, mate. Pentland's that spot sort of. So you got all the big rain over there, and you're sort of stuck here. Greenvale, Pentland, Charters Towers, Moranbah, even to some extent a little further south, right? Yeah, you're sort of right in the middle of all that, and you're not sort of getting the best of either. So look, there is still good rainfall coming for Pentland with showers, thunderstorms, and that sort of thing, especially as the whole remnants of this start to move eastward. So don't think that this is the end for you, but we're probably not going to see, well, we're almost definitely not going to see the numbers that we saw out west, okay? Make sure you put a thumbs up, peeps. Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah, put a thumbs up. We hardly ever get any thumbs up on YouTube. So, yeah, if you are watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. I look at my YouTube lives, and I think I get like 10 thumbs up. I'm like, oh, shit, YouTubers don't like it. Anyway, look, I don't care. You like it, you don't like it. I'm going to do it. All right, absolutely flogging down in the south of Innisfail. Yep, right now, south of Innisfail, let's have a quick look. And as I said, the modelling is pretty clear that there's a fair bit of rain going on out there. We'll use the Tully overlay because it's all heading down that way eventually. Let's have a look. Radar, satellite, lightning. Satellite's just annoying me. So if we go to 256... Yeah, so we've got some nice storms on the tablelands there. Some nice shower activity around the Cairns. Oh, that same thing that happened last night's happening again. Look at that. Big area of rain that pops up just off the coast of Cairns. Holy dooly. There's some serious rain in that, eh? There is some serious rain in that, and it's literally, well, it's that far on the map, but it's literally 5 kilometres, 10 kilometres offshore. And that was the difference yesterday. 500 millimetres fell 10 kilometres offshore yesterday. Can you believe that? 10 kilometres off the coast of Cairns, half a metre of rain fell. 10 k's off the coast. Cairns got like 5 mils out of it. Just wow. It's just that sort of rain gradient, and we're seeing it again tonight. Look at that. That's going to develop 200-300 mils at least eventually over the next few hours. And once again, Cairns is literally on the doorstep of that. If it moves just a touch west, holy dooly, crazy stuff will happen in Cairns. But we're not seeing evidence of it moving west, right? So, yeah, very close though. And you can see, yeah, Innisfail, look at that. Oh, actually, let's zoom into Innisfail. There's something interesting going on there. Did you see it? Right, there's a bit of rotation. See this? See this? Oh yeah, let's watch that again. I'm going to take the lightning maps out. Yeah, look at that. See that there? Bit of rotation going on around Innisfail. Don't be surprised if these numbers get right up there between Innisfail and Curramine Beach there in the next hour or two. Look at that. Oh yeah, I like that. Velocity imagery. Let's have a look at that. See if we've got, yes, it's not a figment of our imagination. See how we got the yellows and the blues right there? So there is a little weak rotational area that's developed right over Innisfail. Good call, buddy. Who was that telling me about Innisfail? That was awesome. Good pickup. Yeah, who's that? Hayley. Yeah, good on you, Hayley. You picked something that I wouldn't have noticed. Yep, right there around Innisfail is where this little rotation is. So remember, in these rotations, it's the area just south. You want to be just south to get the big stuff, all right? All right, let's have a look here. Absolutely, Flog, yep, that's it. That's the one we just did. Current location, Richmond. Good on you, Ronnie. Take care of yourself there, mate. There's still a bit of rain to go for Richmond. Once again, we go over to Richmond. Let's have a quick look. There's a bit of rain coming for you, mate, so it's not over yet. We take a look. We don't need that now. Reflectivity. Yeah, look at that. There's still some stuff coming down from the north there, isn't there? A lot of the heavier stuff just sort of west of Richmond. Oh, once again around Julia Creek. Goodness gracious me, they can't take a trick, can they? Just east of Julia Creek by the looks of that. And if we take a look at what's going to happen here over the next few hours, next couple of days. We've had a look at the next couple of days, but let's have a look at the overnight, early morning period. Yeah, so most of the heavy rain probably maybe just east of where the model's got it there, actually. So it might be sort of just east of Julia Creek, which is where we're seeing most of the heavy rain right now. Yeah, the EC model's got that spot on. So you can see there, that's where we're anticipating our heaviest falls overnight, early in the morning, west of Richmond and just east of Julia Creek. And, oh yeah, look at that tomorrow. See that heavy stuff that develops around Richmond again, mate? So, yeah, be ready for some storms tomorrow that could drive some heavy rain. And then the storms will sort of turn into a big rainy, blobby mess towards the end of the day into the night. So, yeah, still some pretty big rain to come for Richmond. So, it's not over yet and probably won't be over Thursday either. You can see there's still more big rain to come for Richmond through this period. As we go into Friday, I do expect things to settle down for Richmond, moving more towards Hewenden and areas further eastwards out towards the Townsville district, mate. But yeah, you still got a little bit to go there, Ronnie. So fingers crossed, mate. Stay safe. And yeah. Erin Hearn, nothing in Townsville. Yeah, Erin, just give yourself a couple of days, shall you? Come back in 2 nights and say the same thing for me. Let's see how you go. Jesse, how much rainfall is predicted on Sunday, the 4th of January, just inland from the Whitsundays? Oh, Jesus. Buddy, I don't know. Let's have a look. I wouldn't think much, to be honest, because if we're looking at Sunday, by Sunday we expect the little low off the coast of... Yeah, I don't like that. I don't think that's going to take place that way. If we look at the low off the coast of Townsville, should start to show signs of wanting to move away. So maybe the start of the day, there's some opportunities for, moderate to heavy, so 20 to 50 mils of rain at the start of the day on Sunday, and then lifting off to the north and northeast after that, right? So, and then on Monday, we see the stabilisation effect through this area. So we're back to just a shower or two. But there is a little bit of rain potential the first half of Sunday, and even Saturday, we could see some heavy rainfall through that district around Proserpine areas around the Whitsundays. I can't be specific, of course, because it's too far away and there's a lot of moving parts. But, there's good rainfall potential in that part, Jesse, on Saturday and Sunday. Local knowledge beats government.co lackeys every time. Yes, it does. It does. And I'm very disappointed. Some of the advice the Bureau gave the local council here in Townsville and said to them that, nothing more than a couple of light showers. I mean, half a brain, mate. You don't need 12 letters before your name to realise that a north to northeasterly flow through Townsville is going to drive more than just a couple of light showers. I mean, I just it irks me, and I don't want to go off. I've been pretty calm today, but it just irks me that a room full of some of the most intelligent people who know atmospheric physics like the back of their hand can get this so wrong. Like how can you possibly get a room full of smart people together, charge the council money, and tell the council, nah, don't worry about it. There's no more rain. It's just a couple of light showers for the rest of the week. Oh, my God. Anyway, privatise that mob as soon as possible. Please, privatise the buggers. I'll tell you what, the meteorologist's performance will go like that if you privatise the bomb. Unbelievable. All right. Anyway, sorry, you got me started. Don't get me started, Sassy. That they piss me off sometimes, that mob. Anyway, what do you find most accurate, Lucas? There's no model that's most accurate, mate. When it comes to individual setups, we've got to use a blend of models. It's not about finding the most accurate model. It's about finding a blend that fits that particular setup. So this particular setup, I'm looking at the Bureau of Meteorology's model and the UK Met model. And I'm using those for the orographic lift potential, because I understand that we've got convergence, and I'm going to use the Euro for convergence because it's way better than those other two for that. But the orographic lift perspective is better on the UK, and UK is really good at that orographic lift perspective. The Bureau's goes a little bit overboard, takes what the UK does well, and probably just takes it that extra step. So the UK Met is very good at understanding how the mountain ranges of northeast Queensland affect rainfall totals, and the Euro is very good at understanding how the confluence or convergence will operate in northeast Queensland. So a combination of those two I put together and I blend, usually in these setups, to try and come up with my forecasts. Not necessarily either of those two, all right, but a combination. And if I see that the Euro is telling me that convergence is going to happen somewhere else than the UK is, I will generally lean to the Euro for the convergence, but then I'll tag on the rainfall potential that the UK Met shows me. It's a complicated thing, man. Getting up here in my head is very complicated, and it's too hard for me to explain in a live for you about how it all operates. But that's how I like to do those setups. In a cyclone, very, very different. Very different cyclone. The cyclone, I use a blend of different stuff. All right, so it's yeah, as I say, you can't sort of get what's in here, and I can't sort of verbally tell you. It's something that I've picked up over many, many years about how to blend the models together and what I use. So, mate, I'm not going to answer you, what do you find more accurate? Because it's a blend. It's certainly not the Euros. The Euros take is the take, all right? So don't just go on windy.com and have a look what it's showing and go, yeah, we're getting rain. Because a lot of the time you're not. Or a lot of the time when it says you're getting like 1 mil, you're going to get 55 or 60 mils. All right, so it's one of those things, man. You got to blend them. Become a subscriber, you'll find out how I blend them. All right, so Matt. Hey, Matt from Ingham. How you going, buddy? Love Matt's beef. Go to Matt's butcher. He's a legend. Jen, hey mate, Dan Greaves. Hey Nitso, back in the curry, ready to get back to Doogal River, waiting for the couple of creeks to get lower than 20 metres. 20 metres? Jesus. Yeah, right. Good on you, Dan. Stay safe, mate. Hey Steve, you do a great job, mate. Respect. Thanks, Dave. Lisa, hi Nitso. Hi Lisa. Ben's giving himself a plug again. Neville, g'day Ben Martin. Kate Cooper, how much rain has Port Douglas had so far? Let's have a look. Cans. And for how long? I mean, 4 days ago, I think the rain started for North Queensland. So let's use 4 days as a guide. So rainfall for the last 4 days. Where are we? Oh, geez, we don't have a number for Port Douglas, do we? We got Low Isles, 116, and Bill Creek, 116. We don't have a number for Port Douglas. How does Port Douglas not have a recording station? Goodness gracious me. Maybe you can start one there. Who asked me that question? Who asked me that question? Do you reckon you could start a little recording station for Port Douglas for us? That'll be great. I can't believe Port Douglas doesn't have a recording station for rainfall. That's ridiculous. So I can't tell you, but looking at that, the radar-derived rainfall says that Port Douglas might have received, what's that blue shading? About 200 to 250 mils over the last 4 days around Port Douglas itself. So there was a thin strip of very heavy rain, which probably, that's right, because it probably just missed YN Bill Creek. It missed the Daintree, but there was a little thin strip of very heavy rain right on that coastline, just to the north of Cairns, that little thin strip. So that might be pretty close to accurate, actually, that 200 to 250 that's shown for Port Douglas. So Port Douglas was right on the edge of that. Yeah. Will the cyclone bring rain to Victoria? This one, no, David. This one's not going anywhere. This one's going to stay up north, and it eventually comes off North Queensland, and it potentially starts a new cyclone out in the Coral Sea. Hi mate, do you think Forest Beach will get much tonight? Tonight, I don't think tonight's going to be the night. It's not like Dexter. Tonight's the night. Let's have a quick look. Tully. No, we'll use Ingham. We've got Ingham. Let's use Ingham, Nitso, I. All right, let's have a quick look. What do we got? Ingham. I'll tell you what, I like that little circulation off Innisfail. That's pretty interesting. No, it doesn't look like there's a big lot coming for Ingham. Look, yeah, there's going to be showers on and off, and I think we're seeing that, aren't we? Yeah, we're getting a few showers coming in. You got an east-northeasterly flow there through Ingham, so that's going to drive a few showers. I mean, that always drives a few showers into Ingham. But that heavy rain you can see around Innisfail to Tully, that probably wants to stay there tonight. Yeah, probably looking at keeping that there tonight. So, yeah, I'm not overly keen on Ingham getting a lot of rain tonight. I am keen on Ingham beginning to get rain from tomorrow, though. So Ingham will see an increase in rain from tomorrow, and a big increase tomorrow night into Thursday potentially for Ingham. If this orange area just holds up a little bit more to the north. Okay, so yeah, it's not over for Ingham. There's still plenty of rain to come, mate. Will the cyclone bring rain to Victoria? Do you think Forest Beach? Great stuff, Nitso. I love the daily videos. Hey, Robin. I wait for them every morning. It's like a drug, is it? You can't wait to get your hit in the morning. Great value and so much information. It's really interesting. Thanks so much. That's awesome, Robin. That's great. Thank you. And I love doing the videos, so I'm glad that you enjoy watching them. Kelvin, mate, you do a fabulous job regardless of the armchair knockers. You're my Bible when it comes to the weather. Now I have to wait in the towers until I find the road to get back. Oh, yeah, that's right. You got a caravan back in the Curry, I remember from the other day. Yeah, it looks like the towers might be in for more rain. Yeah, the towers will get more rain, for sure. Yeah, for sure. The Charter Towers is it's in a pretty bad spot for this whole thing, right? Because it's way too far west for the Townsville stuff, and it's way too far east for the inland stuff. But eventually, what happens is the inland stuff sort of tracks its way eastwards and destabilises the atmosphere. So there's a nice opportunity there for Charter Towers to pick up rain. You're not going to be the focus of attention. And once again, don't focus too much on the big pink bits up here. But the focus of attention is probably going to be more around the Ingham to Townsville coastline than the Charters Towers area. But there's still plenty of good rain to be had in that area, right? So we'd be pretty disappointed if we got out of this by, say, early next week and Charters Towers hadn't picked themselves up 50 to 100 mils between now and early next week. So, yeah, there'll be a little bit coming. Cyclone is moving at 23 kilometres an hour in the west. It was moving at 12 at midday. It's a quick cyclone now. Yeah, it is. It's moving pretty quickly, and because of the upper trough, and we talked about the sort of steering in this system in the subscriber updates. Yeah, so it's moving fairly quickly east, and that's why it's stronger at hitting the coast now in the afternoon. It's still afternoon over there in the west. So it's stronger now than it was forecast to be because it's hit the coast earlier. Today is a really bad day for the cyclone. It's in a pretty poor environment, but it's taking a little bit of time for that environment to sort of weigh the cyclone down. And so because it's moved quicker, it's got to the coast before it's had a chance to weaken. So, yeah, so that's why the timing of the impact of the cyclone was so important. Stephen, hey Nitzo, I'm catching the red-eye flight Thursday night from Townsville. I'll be watching any of your updates to see if I need to get to Townsville from air earlier in the day due to any flash flooding. Thursday. Mate, I don't think I can't see too much going on south of Townsville by Thursday morning. Yeah, if we're going to start to get stuff happening south of Townsville, I reckon Friday's our day for south of Townsville. Townsville's probably Thursday, yeah, and south of Townsville might be Friday. So Townsville there Thursday, and then, yeah, look, I'm not even sure we're going to get stuff south of Townsville at the moment. So there's a lot of models that sort of just keep everything north of Townsville, the southern cutoff, right? So, yeah, I'm just a bit dubious about the Burdekin coming under threat of any flash flooding, mate. So give that a little bit of time. Yeah, that's exactly right, Aaron. You're 100% spot on, mate. We just looked at that the other couple of minutes ago. That little eddy that formed near Innisfail, and that's going to really drive the rainfall up around Innisfail and just south of Innisfail in the next little while. Once again, we go back to Tully because I love looking at little eddies. There they are. Ooh, look at that little sexy thing just there. It's just pushing through Innisfail now. It looks like it's drifting southwards. So that area of heavy rain is going to drift southwards with it. So very, very heavy falls there on the southern edge of that eddy and just off onto the east, just off the east coast. My goodness, Cairns, once again, you're dodging a bullet again tonight. Geez, there's so much rain just east of Cairns, but it's not coming onto the coast at the moment. Interesting to see how this storm system is going to interact with the pre-existing sort of trough setup here. So as that storm system pushes eastwards, do we maybe redevelop a trough right over Cairns? I'm not sure. We'll see how this goes in the next hour or two. The dynamics in play here between this line of storm and rain pushing eastwards and this line of storm and rain that's remaining fairly stationary. Interesting. Something to look out for in the next hour or two, just to see how these two play with each other. Right, great job, Nitzo. Cyclone tendencies. Hey, cyclone tendencies. How are you? Thank you. Thanks, Sassy. Stephen, nothing for Rocky again? Yeah, no, mate, nothing there. Nothing there we need to talk about for Rocky tonight. Have the Coral Sea temps changed with rainfall? I don't think so. I mean, we can have a look. Let's have a look. Let me not guess. I don't like guessing, so let's have a look. Because it's an interesting question. They're certainly not going to change to the point where they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop a cyclone from forming. Like, they haven't changed that much. Let's use Tropical Tidbits. They do a really good. Map there for analysis for oceans. And let's have a look at anomalies for the Australian region. Yeah, no, Coral Sea's still pretty warm. It's not quite as warm as it has been, but that's still, about half a degree to a degree more than average. And interestingly, in the last few weeks, the temperature anomalies have increased across WA. So that might be a watch this space for further cyclone activity. That's new. That wasn't there a few weeks ago when I checked. So that's interesting. But the Coral Sea, no, it's still average to above average. So it has cooled down a little bit versus climatology, but climatology is warmed up too, right? So the idea is that the water temperatures now are going to be warmer than they were 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. So so the actual average has warmed up in the last 4 weeks. So it doesn't mean that the oceans are cooled down, just might have gone closer to average. Stephen, how can I upgrade my membership? Oh, in your profile, in your account, there should be an option there to upgrade. So when you go to your account, it tells you what you've got, and I think there's a modifier, but I don't have it because I'm on the lead, like the admin account. But there should be a thing on your profile that says on the top right of your screen there that says modify the account, and then you can change your subscription. You can either downgrade or upgrade. So. That's how you can do it, mate. If you can't do it that way, just send us an email, support@weatheriq.com.au, and Dominic will help you out. He'll fix it up for you. All right. So that's the Coral Sea. Proudly sponsoring Nitzo's Cyclone Habit since Cyclone Dylan. Oh, Cyclone Tendencies. I'll tell you what, Cyclone Dylan, God, that thing annoyed us. That was one of the most annoying cyclones we've ever been. And it hurts me to say it because obviously our social media man's Dylan. and he's the guy that deals a lot with the Facebook and especially the Facebook trolls. He's lethal on those dickheads. But he we went and chased this cyclone and it was one of the worst cyclones I've ever been in. I still to this day don't know how the Bureau did not downgrade that silly thing. They still said it was a Category 2 on impact because I think it destroyed a shed on Dingo Beach. And this wasn't like a fair dinkum build shed on the top left of your screen, by the way. This was like a little garden shed that had a roof displaced. And for some reason, the Bureau justified that as enough evidence that it was a Cat 2. Look, we recorded 984 hectopascals in that cyclone. So technically, probably pretty close to Cat 2. Do you know what our wind speed record was in that one? 39 kilometres an hour. And that was a gust. Oh my God! So that was a real case of the cyclone got sheared as it came onto the coast. But my God, that was annoying. That was one of the worst cyclones I've ever been in. It really shouldn't have been a cyclone by the time it got to the coastline. I don't know what the Bureau were looking at when they went, especially in post analysis. You'd think they'd go back and go, you know what? This thing was a gibbering thing that wasn't a cyclone. But they didn't. They said no. Cat 2 stands. All right. Anyway, so that's all right because it adds, it's another little notch in the belt. So, great. Hey, Nitso, any reason you've been talking about Gordonvale as the northern edge of the NQ low? Gordonvale is a dry hole of a place. There's no reason, Andrew, because I just didn't want to include Cairns. I wanted to get as close to Cairns because I know, with Cairns, there's a lot of... I don't like saying the word, but there's a lot of normies, right? The people that don't really know much about weather that join our page from Cairns and that have got no clue. And if we say Cairns, then they expect Cairns to just get pummeled. And so we wanted to find a place that's close enough for Cairns people to go, oh, this might interest me, but also not including Cairns because... if we said that the heavy rain will include Cairns, we knew we'd get 1,000 idiots coming on and going, we said we're getting rain in Cairns. We've only had 50 mils. So that's why we didn't include Cairns, because we knew that there was a chance that Cairns was going to be a little too far north. So we used Gordonvale as a sort of halfway between sort of Babinda, which we were pretty confident would get good rain, and Cairns, which we didn't want to include because we didn't want to cope with the hundreds of normies, possibly thousands of normies that are going to come in and have a chop at us. So that's why we chose Gordonvale. But I'll take your point that you don't think Gordonvale's a very nice place. I'm sure I like Gordonvale. It's got a big pyramid. It's got the big pyramid mountain. I always stop in at one of the surveys there at Gordonvale. So nothing that happened in Gordonvale that's annoyed me. So I'm not gonna agree with you on that one. I don't want to get a bunch of Gordonvale folk angry. Over the next week, do you know how much rain is predicted for the Mount Isa Cloncurry? Yeah, not much. Mount Isa Cloncurry, no. I think most of the heavy rain is done for you. Once again, let me make sure, because I don't want to guess. These are very important areas because of the amount of rain that's fallen in the region. Not Mount Isa itself, but in the region. So I don't want to be guessing here and saying not much, and then suddenly tomorrow you're waking up with 200 mils. I don't think that's going to happen, but I just want to make sure it's not going to happen. Yeah, so all the heavy rain is east of Cloncurry. There's a chance there that we get sort of some sort of lighter rain once the low washes out. So right now, the low... let's have a look. Visible infrared. Yeah, so the low's sort of north of Mount Isa right now. Once it washes out, so at the moment, because it's a low, there's a lot of dry air on the western side. When it washes out back to a trough, there's a chance that we spread the moisture out a bit. So there is a chance there for further rainfall through the district. Not heavy rain, but not heavy widespread rain, I should say. But there is a chance there that we do develop rainfall through the region again. mostly east of Cloncurry. Yeah, this is it here. So see how occasionally we're spreading some rain back out towards the Isa? And that's because our low is now starting to really weaken back to a trough. And when it weakens back to a trough, and the big difference there between a low and a low will try and concentrate and squeeze the rainfall into a sort of central point area. A trough will disperse the squeezing effect over a large area. And so the idea here would be that the squeezing effect won't be strong, but there will be some there. And so that's why we do expect to see showers and thunderstorms for the next few days in the region. So it's not a complete clearance from the Mount Isa Cloncurry area until probably definitely the weekend, but maybe even Friday might be a bit of a clearance. But that's the expectation here, mate. So there is still a bit of rain to come. I don't want you thinking there's not, but it is going to be more of that typical Western Queensland rainfall, right? Where it's showers and storms. Good luck if you get it, bad luck if you don't. This property might get it, this property won't. That's the sort of thing. Once again, east of Cloncurry, there's still good rain to be had for the next day especially, but even for the next couple of days. Cloncurry westwards, no, not much rain, but there will be those localised pockets of heavy rainfall with showers and thunderstorms, especially once the low washes out to a trough. That was for Gabrielle. Fee, I watch on YouTube and on TV for the big screen, but comment and react on Facebook. Oh, there you go. I've got 15 likes on YouTube. How good's that? I think that's a record. Oh no, 13 likes. No, that's an equal record. Yeah, the YouTube people don't like me. I don't know why. Anyway, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. All right, dolphins. Had the rain affected the coral set? No, we've already answered that. The curry has eased. Yep, the curry has eased. You are right. But there is still the chance of those localised showers and thunderstorms through the curry, just like we spoke about. Thanks, Nitzo, for the update and saves me stressing about it. Jesse. Yeah, don't forget, Jesse, there will be potentially some heavy rain in that area on that Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah, just keep an eye out and just be aware of any surface water. We shouldn't see sort of riverine flooding, though, no. Get a bloody flanny on, and it's normally 40 degrees. Oh, Zabinator. Yeah, this must be in Western Queensland. Local radios talk to Nitzo. Maybe the council should too. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't lead them astray as much as the Bureau have. Last year's rain event was just another summer rain day, or just another... No, what was the wording? It's just another summer rain day or something. Just another summer... just another wet season rain event or something. They downplayed it, and we got a metre of rain in the next week. And now this one, they've told them there's just a couple of light showers coming for the rest of the week. Oh, fuck me. Just so dumb. It's like if you don't live in Brisbane, you don't live in Sydney, you don't live in Melbourne, they don't give a shit. They'll spout out whatever they want. And it's just so frustrating. And now the Bureau are actually charging the council. They're actually charging them money for their advice. It's like, mate, if you're going to charge them money... actually freaking work for it. Actually give a shit. Actually study it. Don't just tell them you're getting a couple of light showers over Townsville for the rest of the week. That's just such a dumb thing to do. Don't get me started on them again. Nitso, your wisdom on the characteristics of each model is so valuable. I have a page of saved notes. Oh, do you? That's good. Yeah, crazy CMC is still crazy. It hasn't gotten much better. Brian Toe, hello everyone from the Gold Coast. Hey Brian, not much there for us to talk about for you, mate. There's a couple of showers and storms down there on the coast in the next few days, so look out for those. Some pretty heavy rain from those, but then not going to be sort of severe. Will the rain ease up by Mornington Island by Thursday? Got a friend that needs to fly out. Yeah, mate, we do expect to see... Let's have a look at Morno. I don't say Mornington Island, it's too hard. Morno it is. All right, so Thursday, we expect to see some showers and isolated thunderstorms, throughout the Gulf over the next few days. So there's opportunities here. See that? There's opportunities for the next 24 hours. You can see showers and thunderstorms. Oh, shit, sorry. No, you can't. Now you can. That was the wrong day. So there's some opportunities for overnight showers and thunderstorms through Morno. During the day, probably not much. And then through the nighttime hours, again, tomorrow night, there's a chance there for showers and thunderstorms through Morno. And same thing again on the Friday morning. So you can see showers and thunderstorms blasting through Morno overnight, early in the morning. That's going to be a pretty common occurrence for the next few days, mate. But in terms of general widespread rain, no, you just got to try and duck those storms that come through overnight, early in the morning. I don't think there's any nighttime flights to Morno, is there? I think there's only like a once a day flight or maybe twice a day flight, and they all sort of come through the day anyway. So they shouldn't be affected. Maybe if there's an early morning flight, yeah, there might be some storm activity that they'll have to sort of duck and weave, but pilots are pretty good at that sort of thing. They'll just they'll just delay the flight by an hour or so until the storm passes. But yeah, nothing major for Morno, just showers and storms, mate. Andrew, are you predicting an average or big wet season for Cairns? No, I'm not predicting anything in terms of the wet season because I haven't looked, Andrew, so I can't tell you, mate. I haven't studied the longer term aspects. That's not my go. I sort of look at those once a month, and I just haven't looked at it this month, so I can't guide you in any direction there, mate. Hey Nitso, thanks for your work, love it. Can you tell us about the possible cyclone? No, Mark, I can't tell you about that. Remember, I said that. I'm not going to talk about that one tonight because of the range of possibilities. Nothing I will say to you about the Coral Sea cyclone is going to be valuable to you tonight. All it's going to do is cause a panic and get a bunch of people all sorts of get a bunch of people angry and that sort of thing, mate. So just go back to the part where I talked about it at the start and have a look at what I talked about and why we can't talk about it yet, okay? Yep, Rory, we can see a rain and storm area pushing through now, through the tablelands. Are you predicting? Yep, we've already answered that. Hey, Nitso, southern Queensland could get some decent rainfall New Year's Day. Yeah, some slow-moving showers and thunderstorms. Some slow-moving showers and thunderstorms New Year's Day. And potentially through the weekend. Yeah, you're right. Nothing there that interests me to talk about and sort of study, but yeah, there's a little bit there. Good moisture content in the atmosphere, light steering winds, some weak instability, and perhaps a little boundary that develops. So yeah, there's some nice opportunities for slow moving, very patchy showers and thunderstorms that could result in good rain down in southeast Queensland. Showers developing around Townsville, could be another night like last night. Yep, very similar flow. So it could be, although I don't think we're going to see 100 plus mils, but yeah, we could get a few showers for sure. Where can I look up the rainfall totals over the few days rather than just 24 hours? I find on the bomb, over a few days. Wonderground has a map, Wonderground's Wonder Map, and then you can sort of click on people's stations, and you can go to, so let me just give you, here we go, we'll do this. So this is a subscription service. This one here, this is a subscription service with Met Centre, Weather Watch, and you can see here up to 7 days of their past 7 days, the accumulated rain forecast over 7 days, which is really handy. I think it's an $8 a month subscription. Wonderground, sorry, not Wonderground, Met Centre. And we work closely with Weather Watch with a lot of our stuff as well. So a lot of our products are built by them. So yeah, they do a great job. And so yeah, if you wanted that subscription, it's $8 a month. I'm just trying to think Wonder Map. So Wonder Map. Not now. All right, so here's everyone's sort of weather map. So if you're up at Forest Beach, right? So now these aren't official. All right, so these are just people's stock standard weather maps. Forest Beach is somewhere up here, isn't it? Is it Taylor's Beach or is it just south of Taylor's Beach? Forest Beach, there it is. All right, so someone in Forest Beach has a little weather station, so you can click on that, and you can view the local weather page for Forest Beach. It comes up, and here, yes, I am using an ad blocker. Right, so here you can see their history. Yeah, so you can see the history of that particular weather station, and so you can see how much rain they got on any particular day. And obviously, you can this defaults to inches and Fahrenheit. You can just change that to millimeters and hectopascals and kilometers an hour and that sort of thing, right? So you can do all that, but that's how you can find, wherever you are, all the different stuff. I mean, these are personal weather stations, but Wonder Map is pretty amazing because there's so many weather stations all over the nation, all over the world that use Wonderground. So this is a really nice sort of thing to use, tool to use. If you just don't care about the official stations and you just want to see what your mates down the road are getting, and you don't have a weather station, yeah, Wonder Map, check it out. Kelvin, Thanks for your reply, mate. You're a gem. Folks out here, for goodness sake, if you are not subscribed to Weather IQ, please do so. Yeah, boys and girls, Weather IQ has a subscription service, $32.95. You get to hear me tell you the forecast all through the wet season and occasionally through the dry season if anything major pops up. And if I can't do it, Dylan will do it during the dry season. But yeah, $32.95 doesn't break a bank and it does help us. I think that will do us for now. Oh no, we've still got a lot of questions. Holy dooly. All right, no, I'll stick around for another 10 minutes. Thanks for your reply, mate. Yep, that's that one. No worries, Kelvin. Matthew, good work, Nitso. Thanks, Matt. Lara, loving the non-stop rain and very cool jumper weather. Good stuff, Lara. Barb, thanks for your good information, Nitso. We were able to get a stack of household furniture moved between rain bursts on Maggie Island over Boxing Day. Good stuff, mate. Sassy Ben, serious question. I know you don't do hydro. That means I can't probably answer this question, but okay, let's give it a go. What sort of rain forecast for the Herbert River catchment would you reckon for the next 4 days? We can have a look at that. That's all right. That's not asking me about flood levels. As long as you're not asking me about flood levels, because I just cannot answer anything to do with flood levels. All right, so the next 4 days. So what are we looking at there? We're looking between now and Saturday night. All right, so we can see in this particular modelling, the Euro, we're seeing sort of 1 to 200s. Now, here's that blended model approach, right? Remember, the Euro model does not do very well at orographic lift. A lot of the Herbert River catchment's rainfall is going to be through orographic lift. And so, when we take a look at some of the other... But by the way, a lot of the Herbert River catchment's rainfall is going to be very coastal. That's really important, right? Herbert River catchment extends... Have a look where it extends. I'm sure if you're a local, you know where it extends. But if you check out the catchment there, this Herbert River catchment extends way out here to Mount Garnet. Now, we're not expecting big rain up there in the upper catchment, all right? So a lot of the heavy falls are Ingham, Halifax, the area just north on the mountain range, not back here, all right? And a lot of the big floods and through the Herbert don't usually... Here I am talking out of turn again. I'm not a hydrologist. But from my recollections, a lot of the bigger floods in the Herbert have happened when we've seen big rain in the upper catchment coinciding with big rain in the lower catchment. In this scenario, we are only going to see big rain in the lower catchment. We're going to see some worthwhile rain in the upper catchment, but we're not going to see big rain in the upper catchment. All right, so... Now, the Euro's very conservative. I expect way more rain than what the Euro's telling you there in the Ingham area in the next couple of days. Way more rain than that. But I expect to see something more akin to this level. So I expect to see numbers up around 200 to 400 in the Ingham area. That's what I expect to see in the next 4 days. But I don't expect to see this big rain around Mount Garnet. I don't expect this. I expect to see 50 to 100 through the catchment and 2 to 4 in the lower catchment, Abergowrie eastwards. All right, so that's what I expect in Ingham over the next 4 or 5 days. All right, so just understand there the difference there between the Euro. I think the spread of the Euro model where the rainfall is pretty accurate, but I think the numbers are going to look more like these numbers than the ones I just showed you on the Euro, okay? So that's what I'm expecting. All right, so how's the Herbert? Yeah, I just answered that, Patricia, so you would have just heard me talk about that. Used to be a normie until I started following Weather IQ and learned a lot about how the weather works. That's awesome. That's awesome. What about Bowen? Annette, yeah, Bowen's one of those tricky ones, buddy. Bowen. So we know that there's going to be heavy rainfall that extends down to Townsville as the week goes on, but we don't know if that's going to extend south of Townsville. So there's a huge degree of difference in the models about how much rain Bowen gets over the course of the next 5 to 7 days. I want to give you an example here, right? So this is the Euro AI version, and in this version, we see the possibility of Bowen getting 1 to 200 mils, right? The UK Met model keeps all the rain Townsville northwards, so nothing for Bowen. Literally, well, almost nothing anyway. This is the rainfall potential for Bowen using the UK. So Bowen's in the too hard basket. We're not making a forecast for Bowen right now because it's in the too hard basket. We don't know how far south this northerly is going to come. So if this northerly convergence zone gets down to the Burdekin, Bowen will get on the outskirts of that. They'll get on the scraps of the table of that. All right, so there is a chance for Bowen to get good rain, but we can't commit to that because there's no guarantee that that northerly gets that far south. And here's the rainfall on the GFS AI model, and you can see it doesn't really get below Burdekin region, right? So the Bowen area getting about 50 to 100 there. So you can see the very big disagreement we got for Bowen. So yeah, Bowen's in the too hard basket, too tricky at the moment. And the same applies for Proserpine, the same applies for Hamo, same applies for Bloomsbury, Collinsville, even the southern inland Burdekin. All these areas are in the too tricky basket at the moment because we don't know on Friday and Saturday. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen on Friday and Saturday and maybe the first part of Sunday for Bowen, all right? So if you're going to see good rain, that's when you're going to see it. But we just don't know if it's going to get there, mate. So maybe ask your question Thursday night again, and we'll see what we can do. David, the cyclone's moving. Yep, we've already talked about that. Am I getting these questions again? Yep. Stacey, job well done. It's so disgustingly humid in Cairns. Yeah, it would be very humid, and you're just outside all the really heavy rain. But there is some stuff coming off the table ends there, so hopefully you might get some of that. No worries, Stephen. Glad I could help you, mate. And I'm glad you're a subscriber. Regarding the comment on longer history, EcoWit gives me a dashboard of all connected devices too. Oh, beautiful. I uploaded my personal weather station to Underground. Yeah, good stuff. No, Aaron, we're not going to discuss Mojo on here, mate. There's, we've got a mix here of weather enthusiasts and people who just want to know about the current events. If we've got slow weather days and we want to do one of these, we can discuss those off-topic things like Mojos, mate. The way you explain how the weather will affect areas is awesome. I learned so much. You call it how you see it, no bullshit. Absolutely, Jackie, that's what I do, mate. And I'm not going to say, hey, listen, Jackie, I'm not always right, eh? I'm not always right. Sometimes my brain says I'm right and it's not. It's lying to me. I'm not always right, mate, and I don't apologise when I'm wrong, because when I'm wrong is a chance for me to figure out why I got it wrong, and it's a chance for me to improve and make sure I get it right the next time. And the day I stop doing that is the day I stop doing this, all right? So I'm not going to guarantee I'll get it right. I'm going to guarantee you I'll work hard to get it right next time if I've got it wrong. That's all I can guarantee you. I've had issues signing up. Yeah, Patricia, just send us an email, support@weatheriq.com.au, and Dom will have a look at that, and he'll help you out. He'll sort of hold your hand through it if you've got issues. Don't just give up. Any recommendations for home weather stations? Yeah, EcoWit usually does a good home weather station for about $150-200. You can see it. You can get it on Amazon or the EcoWit store. I think EcoWit has like an online store. That usually is a good little home weather station, and it all syncs up with Wonderground, so you can join the thousands and tens of thousands of weather stations from Australia that are on there. EcoWit would be my... there's another one too. There's a really nice weather station. There's EcoWit, and there's another brand that's very similar to EcoWit. They both do a good home weather station for about $200, $150 if you can get them on special. And that connect to the internet and do all the stuff. Try EcoWit, but there is another brand. I've got I can't remember it off the top of my head. Old Love from Gypsy Station was thanking you. Oh, that's great. Awesome, Jake. Thank you for your forecast and kept her up to date. That's awesome. I'm glad we could help. How much is Townsville going to get? Katie, good question. We're probably thinking for Townsville, once again, how much is Townsville going to get over the next 4 to 5 days? We're thinking somewhere between 200 and 400 millimetres would be what we're thinking, but it's right on the edge, right on the edge of the heavy rainfall. The heaviest rainfall is north of Townsville, but over the next 5 days, by the time this clears up on Sunday, we're probably thinking 200 to 400. Hoping for 2, but wouldn't be totally shocked to see 4, okay, for Townsville. Thanks, Jake. Mate, we do these every second night. When there's weather, every second night. I get one night for me where I can go do my thing, and then one night I come on here and help you guys out for this one. But if you're a subscriber, you get forecasts every day. Christmas Day, New Year's Day, doesn't matter. I work hard every single day. If you're a subscriber, $32 a year. Aaron, I feel bad for Innisfail right now. Yeah, are they still getting pummeled? Is that little low still going? Let's have a quick look at Innisfail. I think Tully. We've got to get I might ask my tech team if we can do an Innisfail overlay, because we got Tully, we got Atherton. Actually, Atherton's probably the closest to Innisfail. Oh no, they're probably about the same. No, actually, Tully's the closest to Innisfail. So we've got Tully, but we don't actually have Innisfail. And so when I want to zoom right in, I can't really, because oh geez, that's a sexy little low, isn't it? Look at it, little sexy thing there around. Goodness me. Sorry, I forgot I was talking to people. That's a very nice looking rotational eddy that's formed along the trough line, would be the more scientific way of saying it. And so it's creating very heavy rainfall. Might be creating some strong wind. Let's have a look at that. No, not really. Not a hell of a lot of strong wind. No, not much there for wind. But yeah, that's very nice. And those numbers around Innisfail must be getting really going up really fast. That's extremely heavy rain. I think the radar is underrepresenting that rainfall, to be honest, around Innisfail. That's a really interesting little area that's going on there right now. Yeah, Matt. Oh, there you go. Mel's from there. Absolutely hammering in Innisfail. Any real-time numbers? It has been a couple of hours and hasn't slowed down. I mean, yeah, we can go to the Bureau of Meteorology site. Let's go there. Latest rainfall, last hour. What do we got from... Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. Look at these numbers from Innisfail. Holy dooly. 61 millimetres in the last hour. 43 from South Johnston. 88 from Marco Street. Holy shit. Tongue Oil, 62 millimetres. Jesus, that's intense. That little eddy, man. Holy. That's the thing with these eddies, eh? They just pop up out of nowhere, and if you happen to be in the spot at the time, you just get smashed. And that's what's going on right there in Innisfail right now. Goodness me. And what have they got since 9 o'clock through there? 182 at Innisfail. South Johnston, not as much. Marillion, 199, and 147 at 147 at Marco Street, 80 something just in the last hour, and Tongue Oil, 114. I think 60 or 70 was just in the last hour, wasn't it? Yeah, wow, those little eddies, man. Oh, 320. Who's that? Who just got smashed there? 320. Sweeney Creek. Yeah, wow. That's what eddies do. That's what eddies on the trough do, and you're seeing it in real time, right? So we can tell you, you're all getting 1 to 3, and then you get an eddy, and suddenly you get that 1 to 3 in a few hours, right? And especially if these eddies don't move, and this one's a really slow-moving eddy right around Innisfail. So, yeah, wow, that's pretty incredible stuff. I've been live for 83 minutes, and it hasn't moved. I'm not sure what hasn't moved. Sorry. 83 minutes and the eddy hasn't moved. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it was Jacqueline. Yeah, thanks, Jake. I think it was Jacqueline. Yeah. She gave us a plug. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think we thanked Jacqueline for that. What's your rainfall expectation next 3 to 4 days? Mission Beach. Probably. Probably Mission Beach, probably pretty good. Sorry, I'm fixated. Yeah, it's like it's the equivalent of porn for a weather nerd, right? When you see these little things happening, and you just get addicted, and you just want to watch it, and you just want to watch it, and you get fixated on this, right? Anyway, what are we talking about? Mission Beach. Mine was going everywhere there. Porn and an eddy. Goodness me. All right, so here we go. Mission Beach. We do expect to see some good rainfall over Mission Beach over the next few days. So it's not over for Mission Beach. We do expect to see more good rain. Expecting likely in the 200 to 400 range, very similar to Townsville, Tully, Cardwell. Ingham might see more around the 300 to 500 range, but we do expect to see further good rainfall for Mission Beach in the next few days before it starts to sort of lift off to the northeast. And then, of course, we don't know. There could be a cyclone next week. There might not be. We just don't know what happens after that, mate. But there's still plenty of good rain to be had there for Mission Beach. We do expect the focus of the rain to move southwards, though. Okay, so today, tomorrow, big days for Mission Beach. And then beyond that, we start to see Mission Beach on the northern side of the heavy rain. Beyond that, okay, so the heavy rain will push down to Townsville. So Mission Beach will find themselves in the northern edge. So that's for north. Hey, Mark, you know how you can get live radar? Become a subscriber. We got a subscription service. See this one here, Weather Centre? This gives you live radar. How good's that? $39.95 a year. And if you want me to gibber with you with all the forecasts, it's $69.95 a year. You get your live radar, you get all your weather models, and you get me gibbering, which is this one here, actually. This one and this one for $69.95 a year. All right? That's how you can get live radar. Lotus is keen for an Innisfail overlay. All right, yeah, I'll give that a go. Yeah, I'm still here, mate. I'm just finishing off the questions. Grab a Great Northern beer. Yeah, it's time for a drink. Let's say I'm trying to lose a bit of weight at the moment. I'm in a bit of I've got a bit of a fitness enthusiasm thing going, so I'm in a cut at the moment. So no beer, no alcohol whatsoever. Very clean eating and drinking at the moment. So I do miss my girl drinks. I love my girl drinks. My vodka cruisers, I love them. Drink an occasional beer, but yeah, I'm more of a vodka. Yeah, don't hold it against me. I know. For a sort of fair dinkum Aussie bloke, I'm not very. Yeah. Anyway, I cop a lot of shit for it. Yeah. All right, that's it. I've gone through all your questions. I've got no questions on YouTube that I haven't gone through, I don't think. No comments. Beautiful. All right, we're done. Have a good night. Thank you for joining me. Time for can't drink alcohol, but anyway, time.